last by 3 or 4 lengths as they race uphill through the first furlong, and Manobo just leads the way to Pile Driver. Hukum in the striped cap is third on the outside, then High Definition in fourth as they race uphill, followed by Pallavicino into a little right-hand turn. Living Legend, after that slow start, was just the back marker, now just improving on the outside of Living Legend, and it's Manobo and hat-trick seeking William Buick that leads the way, shadowed in the red cap by Frankie Dettori on last year's winner Pile Driver. High Definition is close up in third, followed by Hukum, then Living Legend on this 4-timer, and finally Pallavicino. It's uphill all the way through the first 5 furlongs here. A punishing first part of the race, and Pile Driver now getting across to lead under Frankie Dettori, from Hukum going second. Manobo back now into third on the outside of High Definition. Then Living Legend, and 2 or 3 lengths back to Pallavicino, last of the 6 runners. Beginning to swing left-handed but still climbing, and Pile Driver leading the way by about a length to Hukum in second place, Jim Crowley. Then High Definition on the inside of Manobo, got very warm before the race, a length and a half back to Pallavicino on the inside of the pink and red jacketed Living Legend. Swinging downhill now, about to make the descent on the long run, the tumble down towards Tattenham Corner in this Derby Coronation Cup, and it's Pallavicino by a neck to Hukum in second, Manobo on the outside of High Definition, then Living Legend and Pallavicino, and all travelling comfortably at this stage as they continue the run down the hill and about to run left-handed round the most famous bend in world horse racing. And Pile Driver from Hukum almost matching strides now, chased by High Definition on the inside of Manobo, Living Legend and Pallavicino looking outpaced. The riders coming down towards the centre of the track, and it's Pile Driver and Hukum. High Definition on the right, on the left under a strong drive is Manobo, Pallavicino and Living Legend. Pile Driver still just with his nose in front, but here Hukum picking up well now. Hukum from Pile Driver. High Definition trying to join in on the far side as they race down towards the final furlong, and it's Hukum who's kicking away here under Jim Crowley. Hukum by 3-4 lengths to Pile Driver and High Definition, and this is going to be a career best for Hukum. Hukum right away and wins the Derby Coronation Cup. Pile Driver, the winner last year, second this time, from High Definition in third, then Manobo, Pallavicino and Living Legend.
Well, talk about stepping out of your little brother's shadow. Hukum has won the Coronation Cup, a steadily run Coronation Cup, and he's won it by many lengths, providing Owen Burrows with a marquee career success in the season when his string has been notably reduced by the Shadwell estate cutting right back. He's provided them with victory here with Baid's elder brother, a horse who was so consistent last year, ran well in Dubai, and he's absolutely bolted up. They were all looking at each other early saying, where's the pace going to come from? In the end, Frankie Dettori had to take Pile Driver to the head of affairs, but Jim Crowley was going to attend his every move, and the race has suited Hukum to a nicety because he's got plenty of pace, as he's shown today. A messy race, Jane, but a very worthy winner.
For sure, he was a very good winner, and on the far side of the race he was settling behind the leaders, and Jim Crowley noticed there's nothing happening here, I don't want to be behind horses that are proven stayers, so he actually makes a manoeuvre here to go around the field and sit up beside Frankie Dettori and said, look, when we're going to kick, I'm going to be in pole position, and he, for the rest of the race, was always slotting in here in front of Manobo. That's a tactical manoeuvre. I know he's probably run out a resolute winner anyway, but it was a decisive one at that.
That was a lovely move there from Jim Crowley, wasn't it, in what was clearly going to play out as a tactical race. He just moved him up, got the position that he wanted in the box seat really, so that he was in pole position to chase Pile Driver when the pace quickened eventually. We had mid-race sectionals at this point, 13.84, 13.71, 13.4, which for a Group 1 is steady, and they've obviously quickened up the home from the home turn. Hukum by some way the best though in the end, wasn't he? He's run out a wide margin winner in a race that was quite steadily run early.
I mean, they are dawdling here as they come round Tattenham Corner. High Definition and Manobo, two, you thought, proven well, it's not proven stayers. I know High Definition ran at 10 last time, but 2 galloping types. I can't quite work out the logic here.
Not noted for their turn of foot is probably the phrase you're looking for.
That was the phrase I was looking for.
What was interesting is Pile Driver, who had been keen on a number of occasions, settled beautifully with no cover on the front end, and I thought, okay, Frankie's going to build this up to his own tune and make the rest of them come at him. But to be fair, Hukum travelled all over him, crossing the road. It was a case of how much he would find, how much Pile Driver would dig in, and momentarily I thought, my God, High Definition is going to get involved. But as Jim Crowley asks for more effort, he just extends away what has turned out to be a really frustrating Coronation Cup. There's been a decisive winner.
There has been a decisive winner, and when this horse won the Geoffrey Freer Stakes at Newbury over a mile 5 as a 3-year-old, you thought, hello, Owen Burrows has got a star on his hands. He travelled like a dream through the Ledger but didn't get home, and last year he just knocked around kind of Group 2, Group 3 level, running well, winning a lot of races, but not really threatening to break through. He's broken through today, all right?
He steadily made up to this level of performance. He had a really good season last year. He kept on winning good races, winning them well, and it's just been a steady path up to this sort of performance, hasn't it? I wasn't sure he'd have had quite this in him, I must admit, over a mile and a half, but it's very impressive at every point of the race as well, to travel as strongly as he did to get to the front, and then obviously we know that he sees out a mile and a half very well.
The fact that Living Legend flopped out of the stalls meant that he wasn't going to take a part in the early pace. Clearly there was a plan that Ryan Moore wasn't going to lead, as he had done in the Tattersalls Gold Cup. I don't really know why they wanted a sedate gallop. Maybe they thought they could do Pile Driver for a turn of speed.
And maybe they thought they'd make him keen, but it didn't transpire that it suited their benefit, and it didn't certainly perturbed Pile Driver in any way, shape or form. Interesting again, they nearly came all the way across Stan's side. They were more than halfway across the track here. There is an imprint being left in the ground, but it doesn't matter. This guy has proved that he's got more pace than these horses today. What was a mile and a half Group 1 basically turned into a test of speed.
And this is the family, isn't it? This is the Shadwell family, going all the way back to Nashwan and Unforwain and Naef, and so many good horses between then and now, and so we shouldn't really be surprised that this horse was able to cope with the undulations of Epson without any issues whatsoever. We know he's a good horse. He's not maybe quite as good as his little brother, but he's not bad, and he stays the trip well.
And this Group 1 winner, number 17 for his sire, See the Stars, who of course has Emily Upjohn a little bit later on, but well done to Shadwell. Their perseverance is now a 5-year-old, and it's paid off.
King George?
You've got to go for the King George. He's got loads of form at Ascot. I think he definitely does want just a little bit of cushion underfoot to be at his very best.
Yeah, they've got to plot that big mile and a half campaign with him now from this point after such an emphatic win, and he looks ready for it now as a 5-year-old.
And this is a big moment for Owen Burrows. As I said, he was hired not necessarily as a private trainer, the private trainer Sheikh Hamdan, but training at the Shadwell base at Kingwood, where Marcus Tregonning had been. He was sourced from Sir Michael Stout, where he'd been assistant trainer for many years, and this year, with the rationalisation of the operation, he's been one of the big sufferers. He still has horses, but not as many as he did, and it's incredibly important for him to showcase his talents. Now he's allowed to take in a few more outside horses. And no better shop window advertisement than training a Group 1 winner, and I'm sure he will capitalise on this, but he'll enjoy today as well. But I must emphasise, Jim Crowley, he jumped off probably with the plan to sit second last and come late. That completely went out the window when he felt the pace and knew what was happening, took a look around. Frankie was going to get a free lead if it wasn't for this guy sitting upside him and making sure that he got the best out of his horse, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I get the sense that Pile Driver will probably be a big price next time he runs, and that if he's in a truly run race and he's in behind and he can ride a race, he'll be a different ball game.
I don't think it suited him, did it? I suspect, well, strongly, that he clearly hasn't run up to his best, and I think a big part of that is that he's had to make his own. You could ask the question, fair enough, because he was settled in front, why didn't Frankie just press a little bit harder so that it didn't turn into such of a game of pace? But that's just speculation. He was settled on the front end, so he could have just gone a fraction faster.
I mean, who did it suit? It suited this horse. Why? Because he's an adaptable horse with tactical ability, little bit of pace. Jim Crowley could make that manoeuvre on him and sit there. He's a good old pro, he's had plenty of experience, he's been to Dubai, run well there against the bias, and Jim didn't want to find himself in the same position again. His versatility,
that versatility and adaptability between trips and grounds and tactics and everything is all part and parcel of winning Group 1 races.
Let's head down to Lydia, who is with the winning trainer, Owen Burrows.
Owen Burrows has just seen Hukum provide his first Group 1 success at a very significant moment in his career, as Nick was just explaining. Many congratulations. I suppose this is the horse we always thought might do it, and finally he has.
Yeah, exactly. He's been a wonderful horse for me. He's a numerous Group 3 winner. Obviously won his Group 2 in Dubai, and he ran probably arguably his best race in the Shima Classic against that type of horse, and he was drawn a bit wide that day. They didn't go very quick, and he only beat sort of length and a half. So I always felt that there's one in him, So yeah, I'm just thrilled he's done it. Obviously for myself, my team back home, it's been well documented. It's been a tough 12 months, but yeah, just thrilled for everybody and the horse.
And that's because of the rationalisation of Sheikh Hamdan's operation, and clearly you have felt that.
Yes, massively. We've sort of reduced numbers, but it's still a big thrill for me that I'm still training for Shadwell and Sheikh Hamdan's family, and like this hopefully will document that we can get the job done, and hopefully could entice a few more owners and get the more horses in.
Timing is very good in that respect, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. It obviously it means a lot, but timing wise is brilliant.
You said you always thought he might have one in him. The way in which he's just done that suggests that he might have more than one, possibly, don't you think?
Possibly. He was pretty impressive there, wasn't he? So yeah, look, we'll have to get our heads together and see where we go next. I think sort of important that he's got a little bit of juice in the ground. But yeah, he's pretty versatile.
You were talking before this race about kind of picking the Group 1s, weren't you? And you might have to be a bit more front foot than that with him now.
Possibly, yeah. He's in the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud, or he will be, beginning of July. He's in a German Group 1 in August. He's also in the Irish St Leger. And then we possibly thought Canada, and so I half intimated that this might be his only sort of sighting this year in England, but yeah, we might have to have a rethink about that now.
Yes, rain permitting. Can I tempt you with a King George?
Well, yeah, that's the obvious one, but yeah, we'd have to just see what the ground was like, and yeah, we'll have a chat with the team and see what's what.
And while I'm winning, and an arc. An arc?
So we didn't actually enter him in the arc originally, but it was a conversation with Angus that we did debate it, and yeah, look, it could possibly, obviously should get a bit of juice in the ground then, shouldn't we? So yeah, it's definitely an option. Yeah.
He's moved into that division with that.
Yeah, I think he has now after that performance. Yeah.
And finally, you mentioned you and your team. Just quantify what it's going to be like when you go home this evening.
We'll celebrate. But yeah, it's been a tough sort of 6 months. We've had to reduce the team, but the guys I've got left now are brilliant. They've got their heads down and really worked hard. John, my head lad, rides Hukum all the time, and he's actually here leading up today. My assistant Rob McDowell is back at home holding the show on the road. So yeah, they've all played a massive part. Great team.
Absolutely. Owen, you and your team can be very proud about what they've just achieved. Well done.
Thanks, Lydia. Thank you.
Owen Burrows talking to Lydia. Hukum 11-4 wins the Coronation Cup. Pile driver second, the 2-1 favourite. Seen at Catterick, they're inspecting the track. We had a 1.5 mile maiden. That was our last race.